in emunah, 3 levels in emunah have to touch, that every single person has to understand where his belief in the Kadosh Baruch Hu is. We said 2 types previously. What's the 2 types? We said emunah that comes birusha, because your father believes in God, that's why you believe in God. And the second one is that the emunah that comes from you working on yourself and trying to grasp and get it yourself. That through you sitting with yourself and learning, opening the books of emunah, what Machshavet Israel, what the rabbis put out for us. They have so much books today that we could open and read and learn. And understand from there, where does the emunah come from? And not if someone would come over to you and ask you, why do you believe in God? Tell them, because my father believes in God. Or if they ask you 2-3 questions, they're gonna throw you off board. So now, there is an importance to know, to categorize yourself in the right place. And we'll bring it from in here. ברכה זו נקראת ברכת האבות. What's ברכת האבות? The right, we have the first 2 brachot. 3 brachot. ברכת האבות. That's called the blessings of the fathers. Now, what's the idea that we already explained before? What's Elokei Elokeinu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, Elokeinu, our God, the God of our fathers. Who's our fathers? Also, Partanut. We bring every single one of our fathers. We explain. I'm not going to go into length right now, just to people to refresh their memory. That why Elokei Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov? Avraham gilat HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'yarash liYitzchak. Avraham found and recognized, realized who God was, and passed it on to Yitzchak. But Yitzchak was not enough with the what his father passed over to him. Rather, he went with Pachad Yitzchak. Yitzchak Avinu has a different way of looking at the world than his father. And he went to himself and he figured out how I relate to the emunah and how I relate to God. That's Yitzchak. Then not why Yaakov, because that's what Yaakov did. Yaakov also got a birusha from his grandfather, from his father, and he still worked on it. He did not leave it. So we see over there. We brought the words of the David HaMelech, Abba Shalom, regarding telling his son, he told his son, know who's the God of your father. Now let's go to what we're talking about over here. Regarding, we said there's 2 different types of emunah. ולא מדובר באמונה ומתבונן בתכנים שווים. כי אם כן אין צורך באמונה נספחת בהתבוננות, אלא בוודאי קיים הבדל מהותי בין האמונה שבא לנו על ידי התבוננות ובין תוספת האמונה המקבלים אותה בירושלמי האבות. Don't say there's one better than the other. Someone that his father is not observing, does not believe in God, lo alenu. Don't say that his emunah is greater. Why? Because this person worked and figured out and found God by himself, like Avraham Avinu. And don't say someone that God from his father is a lower level than someone that worked on it. Each one is a component that we need. One without the other, it's needed. We're not saying that one can't go without the other. But that's one of a very, very strong idea that we bring it over here. Now, what's the difference between them? We'll see the difference that we could bring it. There's 2 ways, 2 levels in the emunah, in the Yerusha, and someone that gets to it by himself. And it's brought down in levels, spiritual code names. There's spiritual code names. There's something called Memale Kol Almin, Sovev Kol Almin, and Atzmut Ensof. These are 3 levels which are very, very are spiritual levels. Let's understand what that means. Memale Kol Almin means fills up the whole world. Ma Memale Ta'olam, something that you could catch, something you could grasp. That means I have a cup. I can't say this cup is full of air. It's ununderstood. If I tell you this cup is full of air, yeah. Rather, I put water inside, the cup is filled with water. It's understood. Now, then there's something called Sovev Kol Alamim. Sovev Kol Alamim is stuff that that's a better example for the air. Something that we can't understand. It can't go into our minds. Everyone's mind is, every single person's his mind is limited. And Sovev Kol Alamim means that it's basically, we cannot grasp it. So basically, imagine the earth's over here. Memalek Kol Almin is the whole world getting filled up with the everything. And then there's Sovev Kol Almin is the atmosphere. It's around it, the air that's in the cup. I don't understand this. Okay, someone tells me there's air in the cup, but I don't grasp it. I can't drink this the air. It's going to make me have more oxygen. It doesn't work like that, right? So it's something that it's a little detached from me. Then there's something that's much greater, that's completely detached from me. What is that? That's Atzmut Ensof Baruch Hu. And Atzmut Ensof Baruch Hu basically means, Maze Atzmut? Atzmo. The Atzmo Ensof. Who is this? The God. Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. Kadosh Baruch Hu himself Atzmut Baruch Hu. That's the level where no one can touch. Now we want to understand how is our emunah built in a way that we could try to understand and see where we're holding. Where are we, and how could we pass it to our children and grandchildren? B'ezrat Hashem. We have to see exactly. Emunah, ממלא כל המין היא אמונה על פי השכל. על פי השכל. זה דברים שאנשים מבינים. כל בן אדם יש לו שכל, יכול להבין ברמה מסוימת. Every single person has a brain, he can understand on a different level. האמונה בסובב כל המין היא באמונה שלמעלה מהשכל. And that's why we're called, it's special. We need every single one. Why are we called ma'aminim? Lama ta ma'amin. So tell them, I believe there's one God, I believe Yichud HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why are you called ma'amin? Because there's something that you cannot grasp. Ze lo al pi sechel, not always al pi sechel. Sometimes you see Hashgacha Pratit, it makes so much sense to work to believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi shelo ma'amin HaKadosh Baruch Hu tpesh. It doesn't work. That makes so much sense. But sometimes it doesn't believe. They said that when did the Jews used to sing Ani Ma'amin? Ani Ma'amin. Where do they sing it? In the camps. In Auschwitz. What the Nazis would do to them. How could you believe when you see in front of you the mass destruction of the Jewish nation? But why we're called Ma'aminim? Because the Jewish people have in the DNA in our blood something called Sovev Kol Almin. The code word of Ma'aminim. That's Sovev. And these two levels a person can get to by himself. A person could get to by himself with the level of Ba'aminim. That means even if your father is not observing, your grandfather, if you don't get tzedek, can get to the level of Ma'aminim. Now we try to tell over here, Ve'ilu ha'emunah atzmut shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Amanu atzmut and itself. What's atzmut and itself? Godliness itself. She'enam yicholim le'agia elea bekochot atzmenu. We cannot get there by ourselves. הבא לנו בירושה מהאבות, בזכותה נקראים אנחנו בשם בני מאמינים. So a person which is a ger is not considered bnei מאמינים, even though it's ben Avraham. But the level of a person, even if his father wasn't observant, if you're going to sit with your father, you can find a way that he did have emunah and bitachon somewhere in his life. And he didn't even understand, didn't believe that it was that. That's what we're called ma'aminim, bnei ma'aminin. So ma'aminim is why, number one, simple. I could believe, understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I could understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu because I figured out. I learned a little Shara Bitachon. I learned Shara Emunah. I learned something to do with believing. I heard the different lectures, and I understand. And I see day to day beautiful things that God does for me. And even stuff that are not so beautiful, I say thank you. Because I have to say thank you on the bad, just like we say thank you on the good. Then we get to the next level. What's next level? Next level, Mimale Kol Almin. This is a spiritual level. But this level is something that I can get al pi sechel. I see and understand. When I sit with myself and I say, wow, look at the body of the human being. There's a famous story of a person that had to take an emergency landing because he had a problem with his breathing. They put him in the hospital. He was there for 3 days, and they came over to him with a bill for the oxygen that he took. It was like $10,000, something like that. And he starts crying. So they tell him, don't worry, we have different type of insurance and this and that. He's like, don't worry, money I have. Thing is, I'm living so long. I lived for 70 years. I don't appreciate 3 days worth of air. How much does it cost? The appreciation has to be towards something. So that's the same exact thing. When someone sees the machines that you have to substitute the pieces of flesh, a heart pumping. You need a machine this big. Why? Al pi sechel, it makes sense. And believe, ma'amin b'kadosh baruch hu, ma'aminim. Then bnei ma'aminim is only the way that we get it through our fathers. So if our fathers and grandfathers do not pass it on to their children, how could our children be bnei ma'aminim? If we don't show it at home, that Saba, Abba does like this, how are they going to move on forward? They're in America right now. America, you never know. America, you could be 100% sure, they go to good schools, I gave them good education. But 2 minutes later, one friend, like the Rambam says in Ilchot Deot, one friend could throw away 20 years of education. So you always have to at least to give them that super boost, that battery that in the time of need, it's going to turn it's going to turn on in their body. Bnei ma'aminim. It's that what level is that? Atzmut HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Atzmut HaKadosh Baruch Hu. En Sof Baruch Hu. That is bnei ma'aminim. Me'irusha shemekablim ma'avot. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.